Yo, welcome to Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and Music is a Day Job is brought to you by the Concert app. The Concert app is an artist accelerator app that takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour and gives the fans the best experience in independent live music. Now, today is how to invest into your music career. Now, I probably have a different point of view than a lot of people because I guarantee a lot of people will say, money, you have to invest all this money and da. Especially these labels that have you doing crazy stuff like all these scams and stuff like get this feature from this guy and da. I don't believe in any of that. The first thing is there's two, to me, what it is time versus money. So instead of it just being money and people getting on here and they're going to tell you to purchase this to get onto this playlist and get into this blog and then play this dude, pay this guy that can get you onto radio and then pay this. And then I don't actually like any of that personally. Like I make money off music and for 15 years. So I don't I don't do any of that. For 2 years of my career, 3 years of my career, maybe 2.5 years of my career, I went in the form of trying to get a deal and we did all that and it did nothing. And that's not me being mad at it or anything like that. It didn't work out. It didn't go the way we wanted it to go. And we didn't like a lot of the situations around it. So that's me. Maybe you like the situations. Maybe you love the situations. I never been a heavy fame person. I do this because my brother passed away and he used to like to rap. And then I just kind of took it up because people were asking me if I could rap like him. And I was in college going to do something else. And I chose to do this. Worked out pretty well for me. But it's time versus money to me. And I feel the more time you invest, the less money you have to invest. I feel that a lot of times when people invest money, they're trying to make a quick route to it. And a lot of the things you can invest in, like this money wise, can actually be lower expenses. Like, of course, I tell people to get a in-home studio so they can practice and learn those things. And maybe sometimes you can like us, we record a lot of our music in our houses and send it to our engineers to mix. And but then of course I have like team engineers, so that's rare for people to have, I guess. But definitely figure out a lot of things. Of course, investing in things like cameras, very important. You can figure out someone in your team that can hold a camera if you invest in enough stuff. And that's like these are the money things that I think of because I see things that you can also figure out ways to make money off of. So if you did buy an in-home studio, of course you could record other people. If you do buy videos, of course you could take videos for other people and get your money back. So if you figure it out, it ends up becoming an asset and it doesn't depreciate. A lot of things that people will get you to do is buy this publicity, and it's like if I buy this publicity, then it dies and like no one cares. Like, so it's like, to me, if you time it right, I guess, if you have everything going at one point and the organic push that you're doing is going crazy, as I said, you're putting your time in and then you start investing in some of these things, then it can make it look 10 times bigger, of course, if you invest money in those things. But I personally believe it's a lot to do with the time. If you're trying to make this a day job, if you're trying to get famous, then of course you probably need to invest money and go do all the stuff that they're saying online, because I see people putting up money with labels, putting up 250, 500, everything like that. I see tons of those things. So it's like, if you want the fame and you got to get around dudes that believe those things, then of course they're going to force you into things that are going to cost. Get this feature from the homie and do and all this stuff like that. And I guess that's cool if that's what you want to do with your career. Then great. But then as you even know, as you invest in it, it has to be you have to recoup. And if you're in a label situation, they have to recoup all of that and more before they give you any. So you'll just start digging a hole. And I feel that hole is like a forever hole because there is no guarantee. There really isn't a guarantee in this game. And with the percentage of people that actually live off music being under 1%, making over $40,000 a year, then you're looking at a high chance of just digging a hole for a long, 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 long time. So I tell artists all the time, your investment really needs to be your time, because that's the situation. These are the situations. Finding fans, like as I always tell people, that's the number one thing you need to do is find fans. Because if you can find fans, that means you can like start growing, because your fans will like pay, will basically like they'll basically be the investor to your business. And like, I don't get why the industry does not teach people this, because the gist of it is every product in the world is like that. Every product in the world is like that. If you can find consumers, that's what makes your business grow. The first thing they ask on Shark Tank is, how many have you sold? Like, that's like the first thing they ask for any business. And then we teach our musicians just to make music, and hopefully someone else goes and sells it for them. And they sit there all day making all this music, trying to schmooze with all the right people for someone else to sell it and put it in front of consumers. So you're basically paying for everything for someone else to put it in front of consumers. Versus the idea of just going from you to consumer versus you to business, go you to consumer and directly build your own fan base and directly sell to them. And then you get your money up. Now you might not get fame, because of course they're not going to like it unless you're just destroying so much stuff. Like for instance, you're selling at million, like you're selling like selling out like venues like that are like 2,000 in every city and stuff like that. And even some dudes that I know that do like some numbers like 1,000-person venues, some of them don't get no deals, because what they don't like, they don't want them to have the control. So it's like some of these dudes don't want the label to have the control that they have. So they won't go to them. And then some of the labels don't like them because those dudes won't change to fit the mold that the label wants to have for them. So it's one of those things. I tell people, invest with your time and then figure out a plan to get fans. And of course, as I said, use concert, because the gist of that is otherwise you're going to have to find your time to figure out venues and figure out how to get into those venues and figure out how to consistently do numbers in those venues, when I'm trying to say to you, hey, just start low, 5, 10 tickets, get to a point 30, get to a point 40, 50, 60, 70, and move up and keep working hard. And then you keep getting shows. That's what that is. Keep finding fans. You keep getting shows. And when you get to enough fans, you start getting paid. It's levels. Levels to this. You know what I'm saying? So invest with your time first. And then, but if you, as I said, if you want fame, you're going to have to invest with money currently in the way the industry's built. You're going to have to invest money. But me personally, I say if you're going to invest money in things that can become assets, of course. As I said, like even when you do like clothing, like I'm not a heavy clothing dude. Like you probably see these videos and probably like, man, he dressed like a bum. And I do all the time. But if you ever see me at a show and you see me bring out the pink minks and all that stuff like that and all that, then you'll see. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then I invest in those things just like it's a business. So that's a uniform for my job. So when I get onto the stage, I look right. And that's one thing we learned. Like you can't look like everyone else in the crowd. When you look like everyone else in the crowd, they think you're everyone else in the crowd. When you don't look like everyone else in the crowd, you stand out and everyone wants to watch you. So those are the things you're investing in. And I think everything is like a form of an asset to me when I invest. Of course, as I said, the video camera, sometimes it can even get to vehicles if you're going to use those vehicles to get you around to all these different places. And it's going to cut like pricing of like flights or whatever you're doing. Like, look, I say invest that way towards your career. Invest towards those things that can take you and help ease expenses or become assets in the future, or things that can make money themselves. As I said, like the video camera and the studio, those can make money. And so those are the things you should invest in. Those, and they help you just as much as they can make money and benefit you in other ways. As I said, I don't believe in other investing as much because I personally have never seen anything from it. And I know a lot of artists that haven't seen anything from it. So then it's like, I don't know if it's useful to some people, but the ratio of people that it's useful for just isn't great. So yeah, that's what I feel you should invest in and how you should invest into your music career. This is Music as a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean. This is brought to you by the Concert app. Now, make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe so everyone can see this. Also, with the Concert app, we are now in multiple states, multiple cities. If you get onto the app and you see we're in your city, then or your state, then we're probably either already having shows, which you should jump on and start getting your shows popping. If we are having a Q2 conference, make sure you come out to the conference because we're going to start building in your city. If your city or your state isn't on the app, then I need you to get on there and tell all your friends to get on there that are musicians, because then makes it easy for us to see the demand so we can get out there. Anybody that knows any venues, whether we're in your city or not in your city, let us know, because that makes it easier for us to start getting to those venues and start helping you guys turn music into a day job. So you already know. This has been Music as a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean. This has been brought to you by the Concert app.